Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to SCS. Now, does this mean that you're the infamous one only, or are we both infamous?
Well, okay, we sure are going to be giving a bit of an infamous illustration tonight. I think that's the best way you could put it. Phantom Legion have a big onus to find this win, because if they don't, their playoff dreams might be deeper in the ditch, and you've got to get this one going. You didn't win last week. It was a very unfortunate circumstance. The coach had to come in. There was all sorts of odd happenings, and now you're here and you've got to get this one. And certainly I think infamous is probably the way to describe us, me and UK, my knight in shining armor. But I'm really excited to get this going, and it's been a real long time. I think our last cast has been more than 3 months ago, but really excited to dig into this one. Not sure about you, but as mentioned, the implications of this are quite large, and I think they'll be felt for the weeks to come.
Absolutely. I'm curious to see what especially Phantom Legion's going to bring out. We've seen Wichita Wolves so many times this week, and we're going to continue seeing them for many other times this week, but I really want to hone in on Phantom Legion once we see their stats on the board. We are going to look at the maps first, though, but that doesn't discount what we're going to be seeing on those maps as well. Phantom Legion, they have a few new people, especially one that I think a lot of the people in the T3 scene and maybe even above are pretty familiar with. One very special individual named Dan to be bringing himself in here, trying to test out comp a little bit, and Stick, I'm excited especially for that tonight.
Oh yeah, it was real fun to see Dan perform last week. Unfortunately, in the first map when they played on console, he actually wasn't able to make it. There were some prevailing issues, I believe, with the internet that prevented him from playing, and in that instance, Challenger, their coach, had to step in. Dan was back for their second game, but it didn't go the way that you would predict, and actually the only map that we saw Phantom Legion come out on top of was the consulate match with their coach in play. So having Dan back unfortunately acted as a bit of a curse, but I'm sure after giving a bit of a rundown, looking through that game, doing all the prep work necessary, and speaking with the coaching and analysis staff, you're back to fight for this next series.
Well, that's interesting that you brought up too about console not going quite the way Phantom Legion had hoped. We're going to see it banned out, but now we're going to be looking at the stats as well. And these stats, overall, from what we've seen, are pretty good. I think Dan's are a little hyperinflated, though. He's at that 1.37 rating overall, but he's only been playing a few games compared to everybody else. Otherwise, on Phantom Legion's stats, they're not really that bad. They're pretty par of the course for a lot of these teams. But Stick, what is really concerning me, though, is that there's only a hint of green on the left side of our screen. There's only one victory they've had this entire season, and that was a super close 8-6 in the overtime. But before that, look at that consulate match that you mentioned. It's 0-7.
Right, and so to kind of give everybody a deeper idea of what's going on here, you can see the seasonal history is all back and forth. It's kind of topsy-turvy here. You see the first set of 3 games. What happened there? Those weren't actually Phantom Legion's matches. In fact, they were Renaissance's. And Phantom Legion came in because Renaissance, you can see, forfeit 4 times in a row. All of their matches, they didn't show up. And so Phantom Legion came in to replace them. At the bottom of your screen, you can see the consulate 7-5. It was really close, and they actually had a bit of an error. We talked about this last week, and it was kind of the big joke. During the map ban phase, Trist, I think his little brother, accidentally banned the wrong map, or like he was messing around with the mouse when he shouldn't have been, and so Phantom Legion went onto a map that they weren't totally keen to play. We had kind of a joke going about that, but yeah, the stats are something else to talk about here. Disturb's a real standout performer. Dan, as you mentioned, he's only had that one map of play, and even though they did lose it, he still managed to get some solid contributions playing that Thermite and Maestro role. I wouldn't be surprised to see Disturb show up and have another ball-out game today, but one thing you've got to take a look at is their first entry, Trist. His performance can oftentimes be a big tell of whether or not Phantom Legion are ready to play.
Yeah, and I think that's a commonality between both the entries that we see for Phantom Legion, is that they're both a little bit kind of in the mid-tier and down below towards the lower end of the stats and pretty much all marks when it comes to their team. Their support might be super strong, their hard reach looking pretty good, but if you're not able to get in, make that tactical and almost at times clinical insertion, you're going to lose the patient on the operating table. You're just not able to revive this body. You can't resuscitate the round in your favor. But enough about the medical diagnoses of Phantom Legion. We're going to move over to Wichita Wolves, where we can see a little bit healthier of a chart going forwards.
Yeah, it's really well-rounded for Wichita. I mean, you've got the top four here, Anarchy Faded, Devil, and Iski, who have all had strong performances. One thing you've got to watch out for, though, is Tyrant. If Tyrant fails to show up today, just as he did in the previous Playday, Wichita Wolves really felt the burn, and they were not able to recuperate without their flex player performing at his highest level. It was not a good day for the Wolves, and it's really surprising because they've had just a huge amount of success so far. That most recent game was one of their most daunting losses throughout the entirety of the regular season here in SCS. You can see a 1-7 scoreline, 6-8, a little bit closer on Coastline, which is odd because we've only had that other Coastline played once, and it was still close there. Wichita does not seem like a strong Coastline team at all to me. I feel like they strive and play much better when they run maps that are more traditional and more kind of orthodox.
I mean, I guess we can see why they insta-banned it this time around. They've had, pretty good success overall in SCS, but outside the scope of that in other leagues, they've been kind of faltering a little bit at times. So I'm a little concerned going into this one if Wichita Wolves are going to have their usual established dominance, but this could also be a really good chance for Phantom Legion to show up and show what they could really do with their new roster. But going to the standings now, we do see Lycus Empire now rocking that 11-1 scoreline. Not quite the 10-0 that we were used to before, but progress is progress in both different ends. But meanwhile, Stick, Reese, my man, look at number 12.
Yeah, Phantom Legion really have a long road set out ahead of them. You can see they've only got 8 maps played, the least out of every team, and tied with Redux, who have been on the opposite end of this spectrum. Because Phantom Legion, previously Renaissance, had forfeit all their matches. It's Redux who have had their opponents constantly forfeiting against them, and so they haven't had, as many opportunities to prove themselves, though still with a solid record 10-2 so far. Phantom Legion, I'm going to say it again, they have to get this win. It is imperative for the future of their season, especially now with Synthetic looking somewhat resurgent, picking up Pixel, and First Attempt with some changes in the future coming to their roster. If Phantom Legion doesn't get going now, it's going to be hard for them to leapfrog some of these other bottom 6 teams.
I think it would be perfectly valid to say this is a do or die situation for them. If they're not able to win this one tonight, you're going to have to say goodbye to SCS at most capacities. Sure, you won't be kicked out of the league, but even then, you'll be 2-11. That is, that takes nothing short of a miracle, if not fundamentally impossible to bring it back from. But look at these predictions here. We're going to see some interesting choices here going forwards, and I'm curious, because we see a whole lot of dogs there, but not enough Green Lanterns.
Yeah, I think it's honestly kind of a credit to Phantom Legion to have at least secured the votes and the confidence of both Ferme and Connor. Their CDAPs, getting the votes in for them at least shows somebody, thinks Phantom Legion is going to come out on top of this. My initial prediction and what I was saying is regarding Phantom Legion as a test when they came into the league was the game that they played last week versus Hostile Actions. If they didn't succeed there, it's going to be hard to beat some of the other top tier teams. And Hostile Actions, with a new player, a sub even, of Exum, gave them a real run for their money. And it looked like it was not Phantom Legion's best day out on the field. This one versus Wichita Wolves is, almost equally important, if not maybe just a little bit more so, because as you mentioned, if we don't see Phantom Legion get this here and now, not only do they have a stark road set ahead of them with a lot of strong opponents, they've also got such a gamble that they have to play as far as the points game, because when you lose for so much and come into this with a record that does not assist you, what'll happen there is very simply, you have to rely on the performance and the match results of other teams. If, for say you've got a team ahead of you and they're playing an important match, you've got to kind of root for them to win almost, or lose, whatever the storyline must shake out as. You need to get this back into your own hands, and I don't know if Phantom Legion are capable of doing that.
Well, I mean, I think that's a good point, Reese, because look at the predictions from the Emergence in Wichita game. Look at all those red highlights over Wichita symbols. Everyone was going into this thinking that they would win. And now that they lost what was probably one of the most dominated predictions that we've seen, now we're seeing a little bit of a shift when it comes to these predictions. And I know what you and maybe everyone else is probably thinking, so what? They're predictions. They don't have to be right. But it gives tell that there's less confidence in Wichita going into this matchup. This could be, like we mentioned before, the cut and entry point that Phantom Legion needs. Even if it's not in game just yet, at least then it gives at least a little bit of a boost of confidence to say, hey, you know what? We can do this. If Emergence can do it, I think we can have a good shot at it.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from there. Another thing to talk about is we've already eclipsed the halfway point here. This will be, I think, the week 7 game for Wichita. Something else to talk about is the Super Week we've currently got ongoing here. Wichita having played so much Siege recently. I think they've already played 2 back-to-back games on Monday and Tuesday now, rolling forward into this Wednesday game,
God,
and that's not even it for them yet. Wichita have another game tomorrow, a best of 5 inside of Upsurge. So they've just got Siege match after Siege match, and it's probably got to wear down on you a little bit to play that much Siege for the entire duration of the week, and just arrive here now. I have to talk about this
Siege.
again.
I play Siege 1 hour per season, and I'm already worn down. So, I mean, I can definitely feel for them.
Yeah. It is the new meta. Maybe not everyone's favorite, and you get a bit tuckered out there, Keg. Trist, though, we already talked about how he can be a tell of their performance. I think that is ignoring very simply one nature of Siege, and that if you don't get your kills, if you're not participating as an entry frag, you're not going to be able to find success in a lot of these matches. Hostile Actions played well in the slowdown game. I think Wichita and their defenses will likely try to simulate that in some respects, get it going again, and force Phantom Legion to kind of slow on down. Phantom are kind of a reactionary team. That's how we described them last week. They sort of look at their opponents and then sort of decide how they're going to play around that. Versus Hostile Actions, it didn't work very well because Hostile played a very weird kind of 1v1 gunfight style of Siege that Phantom Legion were not prepared to play against, surprisingly, being a team that has a lot of gun skill on it themselves.
Yeah, overall, Wichita, a lot more of a structured team, kind of going against a team that is less structured, but also with Dan in the mix. He's only played 1 game. I have a feeling fundamentally we could see a lot of huge changes for them tonight, but those changes need to come out pretty quick and pretty soon because we're going to go to Cafe and we're going to Clubhouse, the 2 most basic maps in all of Siege, but there is one thing we got to talk about, Reese. And that's the new meta. It could change. It might not change. In the previous set that we did see, there weren't too many drastic changes. Hopefully, Hibana can use some of her new utility that has changed in Neon Dawn. But we're going to have to wait and see if the teams actually want to employ those changes, or if we're just going to see a fundamental lack of Wamai, so much so compared to Shadow Legacy.
Just taking a quick look at the statistics overall for the maps, I think Kafe and Club are actually Wichita's best. They're strongest performing maps as far as statistics go. They're both over a 65% win percentage, which is pretty big facing against Phantom Legion. And when you look at Phantom, there's very simply just not enough data, I think, to make a confident analysis of their map pool or from a base level how we can expect them to perform on the map. We won't have to play any guessing games, though, as Cafe will be kicking off just shortly. We'll get into the operator ban phase. Keg, are we going to be seeing that Thatcher ban we know all so well?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no, we're not on Cafe. We're definitely not going to see it on Clubhouse. I have seen only Hibana banned on Clubhouse now. I'm going to confidently and maybe incorrectly say we're going to see Thatcher in play here. But we're going to have to wait in 1 second. It's going to be... We saw him banned. Okay.
Thatcher's gone. Get out of here,
The next one's going to be
Thatcher.
Maverick. Maverick, or maybe even Ace will be the second ones. I'm definitely expecting to see a hard breach ban after this. But when it comes to these new defenders, Reese, I can confidently tell you, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's likely to say they'll still probably be a Malusi ban. We'll have the Capitao taken out, which is odd. Capitao can be fairly effective, I think, on Kafe. You've got to look at that with the lens of the new meta now that Jaeger can't deny, so much utility. And there's only really the Wamai's magnets to stop the onslaught of utility. And with
Not
Wamai
anymore.
banned, you don't want to play that guessing game of whether or not Capital's asphyxiating bolts are going to, abruptly remove you from a position of strength. The final ban, it's got to be either Mira, Maestro, or Malusi for me, the triple M's to come through. All of those operators are strong within the utility meta, and I think it doesn't change much here. In fact, we will see the Mira. And the big thing about Mira is she's pretty much effective on every site that you play for the map. Only it's really Kitchen that you can't make a strong case for Mira, and even then there's still a few pocket strats that you can come at it with. Put one kind of between the objectives from Kitchen service watching into cooking, or maybe even try and set one up on the bakery wall. We've seen a lot of awkward strategies revolving around that, and so it's just kind of a situation where I don't want to play against the Miras. I don't want to have to worry about clearing those. And now that you have the Thatcher banned out, and we'll see PLG bring the mute, using your hard breach to try and clear out a Mira window would be substantially more difficult.
It's really interesting how far we've come in these, small little operator changes. Even in the last day, had we been casting this maybe even a week ago, we probably would have said we don't see Mira a whole lot anymore on just about any map. But now she's been played quite a bit in SCS today, even going as far back as the last set on Oregon. We saw Mira almost every single round. And now with all these new changes, especially with a little bit more of a dynamic shift in what is prioritized for the attackers now, we're going to be seeing a comeback for Mira. And now teams have to re-figure out how they want to incorporate her in these strategies. But not here today. She's going to be banned out, so we don't have to worry about that. But she will be coming back into some amounts of fear for a lot of these teams. But going back into this game, we are going to be starting off on Bar, and this is going to be probably your pretty par of the course attack if I had to take a guess. We are going to be we do want to keep an eye on the defense though, with, again, like we mentioned, the new meta could be adding some changes, especially on that pixel angle that used to be hotly contested for teams like Wichita Wolves, but now might be a little bit more free real estate.
So seeing the new meta come into play here, Phantom Legion have kind of slipped back into the drone denial meta. I think that's something that Lycus Empire have also tried to do a little bit more, make sure that you can't operate with that full bank of intel. And what that mainly has to do is now that you don't have the kind of shield of utility burn to protect yourself, what's the next step for the attackers? Normally after you would clear all the utility in the old meta, then you have to get the intel to allow yourself to be, hot droned and push up. But when you don't have that utility step, the attackers have so much more free roam to go for their intel clear. And so I think bringing the Mozzie and the mute here makes a lot of sense. We'll see Anarchy get very aggressive now, moving inside of Cigar Shop. He's got a frag in hand. The Mozzie below, that's Trist, waiting inside of Train with a Nitro Cell, waiting to try and take out any of these early attackers. There might be some intel in there as well. Perhaps even one of Trist's drones. Maybe he snuck one in there, or waiting for simply a sound cue. We'll see something moving forward here as the attack begins to mount the pressure. 1 minute and 30 seconds to go.
Yeah, definitely some bold strategies coming out for Wichita's side. We see them all kind of coagulated together in different areas. It's going to be Iski pretty much by themselves inside of Cigar Lounge, while the rest of the team is kind of tiptoeing back and forth about where they want to attack. Devil's thinking maybe they could go around on the new balcony, go in for a quick plant, but that would be kind of a silly maneuver to go for. Instead, they're going to be playing the traditional attack instead, and they're waiting to see if they can bait out anyone from Phantom Legion to slowly push on up. But here's the thing though, Reese, they are playing super slow. Sure, the track stingers can go down, but they want to make sure they can hold on to things for a little bit longer before the full engagement's gone on by. We've already burned quite a few minutes, and yet not a single bullet has really connected.
Just Dan, the sole player to have seen the large brunt of the combat. Devil will launch out a Selma charge and a smoke canister as well to obscure the doorway. You've got Iski providing some coverage out here on Terrace Rappel. Buzz is sitting at white. He might try to go for a run out. I don't imagine that'll be Maestro with Dan flying out the window, and certainly not now as he's dead and on the ground. Faded for a second here with the F90. It's Iski onto Trist. Just two final defenders here from Phantom Legion, and only the one, Buzz, with the sole job of trying to make sure this doesn't end in a flawless round, but that's exactly where we're going.
See, one thing I've picked up from casting over the last few months is that people really like to use doctor terms when it comes to how teams really like to go for their attacking executes. And I would agree with that here, is that Wichita went for a very clinical approach with their attack. They went structured, they went in, they found the proper angles, and they really caught Phantom Legion off guard, especially Iski with his double kill there. He knew exactly where to go and to take out exactly who he needed to, almost like it was part of a very coordinated symphony. And it worked out pretty well in their favor. That's bar completely gone, and we're going to see them go for it again.
We won't have to wait long to see what the adaptations are to come through. We can answer the question of the operator composition, but in fact, it's all the same, and PLG won't make any changes. So maybe what they thought happened in the previous round was that they lost their engagements. Well, that is certainly true. If you look purely at the stats, nobody on Phantom Legion having a kill to their name and barely any damage done in reciprocity onto the Wichita attack. They've got to get some more frags here, and I don't think Phantom Legion were really keen to make a stronghold inside of Cigar, and so perhaps that's the change to look at implementing here. Set up somebody, maybe even Trist. We'll see him over by Mini. Put a shield perhaps on the cigar shop door. That's the old style of holding Kafe for the old timers here. If you remember the pre-map buff Kafe, what you would do is you would set a shield, ton of utility to protect it way back even before the Wamai, and you would just wait until the cigar shop door had all of its utility burn, and you put somebody with an M590 shotgun there to try their best to kill the onslaught of attackers as they funneled through. And perhaps that same strategy could work wonders here, but I think PLG are going to play this a little bit more reserved. It's just Trist, the sole defender, defining the hold inside of Cigar Lounge and waiting to possibly get a freebie should the Wichita attack fail to check their corners.
You know, I'm really concerned about this right now, Reese. I'm not gonna lie to you. Trist is playing such a funny enough aggressive angle. Tyrant almost found his head, but a little bit of a chair got into the way, not able to find that headshot right away. But Trist, if he makes a wrong move right now, he's toast. And that's giving up control of Cigar completely. In fact, he is toast. He's burnt like butter. He's gonna go down. And again, the entire micro strategy, the changes that you mentioned, Sticula, have completely been nullified within a minute of the round. Now they're down a person. It's free range, and we're seeing deja vu of the previous round yet again. I'm thinking this is gonna be the same exact outcome twice in a row, especially with Trist not able to make too much of an impact.
Certainly looks like it here, and Wichita are making much better on their time. We saw it barely came down to 30 seconds when Wichita found their frags in the previous round, but already a 5-2 advantage with 90 seconds to go here. Iski below, waiting and reading as he cuts off the white rotate. Phantom Legion are starting to feel the grasp of Wichita closing in around their neck and choking out the life. Faded on the Buzz, it's just Giorna waiting inside of the bathroom, but Iski fells disturbed below. Only the Mute and Wichita Wolves secure 2 flawless attacks onto the bar bomb site consecutively.
I like that analogy. It's like the Pokemon Darkrai. You know, they put Phantom Legion to sleep once Trist went down. Then they used Dream Eater by collapsing onto Cocktail, getting that plant down, and subsequently, not even 10 seconds later, winning the whole round entirely. This is looking like they found their mistakes from not only the last time they played on SCS, but maybe even their colder batches from earlier in the week, and they have capitalized on their mistakes, and they figured out what went wrong, and they're correcting it on the fly. Right now, Wichita, sure, we've only seen Bar, but they haven't really put themselves in a position of weakness at all. They've always won those gunfights. In fact, they've won so many gunfights that 2 rounds now into this game, not a single kill on the side of Phantom Legion. Not one. Not even an assist.
Wichita are very simply put, playing this perfectly. Getting all the frags necessary to enable their push onto the bomb site and then checking off the steps in order to get the plant down. It's been 5 frags and the diffuser on the ground. for both rounds played so far. Phantom Legion do not make the mistake of returning to their same bomb site with the same macro strategy. Instead, we will have them rotate now down to the kitchen, though. The operator lineup is mostly the same. I think it's largely the roles that have been switched around. We'll see Disturbs, rather than the Cade role he played in round 2, instead moves over to the Mozzie, and Trist onto the only new operator for this lineup in the Valkyrie.
I think this is a smart decision to make now. We do see Trist going to the Valkyrie pick. You get those outside cams, therefore not having to really... They can play a little bit more aggressively if they choose to. They do have a C4 in play. They have a lot more options than I would say the Mozzie on bar. But now at least if they go down, it's not fundamentally terrible for them to die immediately. Now, I'm not entirely sure where Valkyrie's placement is. I'm only going to assume it's either completely on site or maybe just far off into the roaming and top floor. But this is looking already like a pretty solid defensive round for Phantom Legion purely on the positioning itself. They seem to have their positions down. They have the C4s where they need to be. But I think one thing they weren't expecting was it not to be a bakery push. No, instead we're going to see a little bit of white and a top-down one. There's no pressure on that lower floor just yet, minus that ace. And Reese, we're not seeing a lot of pressure on that top floor.
Wichita are not the best team if you bring them down here to kitchen, in fact. It's still a good number, 60% win rate on the kitchen prep site.
Oh, Trist!
But Trist gets his opener. Finally, a kill for Phantom Legion. Something they've been searching for in these previous 2 rounds. Trist is on the run, but Tyrant sprinting through gets cut down. Trist with a double kill now, a 5v2, as he slowly lulls Wichita Wolves to sleep and Disturbs. Cutting down Devil, it's just Faded left. The engagement versus the MPX will go in his favor as Trist falls finally. The double kill is stopped in its tracks, but still 4 attackers, 4 defenders even, to take down here. And Faded has got a significant problem on his hands. The F90 is not the best weapon to frag out with, especially versus 4 opponents when you've got less than 50 health keg. I'm sure you're aware. And Phantom Legion are yet to give up control of the second floor. They're going to continue to burn down the clock as it gets lower and lower. And Faded searches to get this diffuser. He'll walk inside of Dining. A headshot? Can he get it? He does. Faded, a double kill. 3v1 keg. Is this going to happen? I don't know. It seems like it's not about to materialize with 20 seconds to go.
Well, you know what? Gridlock isn't, her forte is not running. She's a bit of a slower person physically, but mentally she's high in the sky. Moving forwards now, diffuser in hand, only 8 seconds left. It's a 3v1. This is our Mission Impossible right now, but you're not quite Tom Cruise. No, you're Gridlock. And poking through that barbed wire, well, that's going to be your doom. Dan, 30-41. The Twitch streamer himself, the legend, the non-stop grinder, able to find that headshot and securing their first round on the board. And what could very well be their do-or-die matchup against Wichita Wolves. And Reese, that was a pretty good round for Phantom Legion. I love the placements of Disturbs, Trist especially, able to frag out and get those roaming kills. It seems like they're in their element now. But it's a matter of whether or not that was a one trick for the kitchen or if Reading Room is going to be the same exact motive.
Well, I think what really separates that kitchen defense from the previous 2 rounds we saw up on the 3rd floor is the fact that Wichita were lacking their drone push and pinch style of play. They gave Phantom Legion a large number of one-on-one fights, which is very atypical to see from them, considering they've got a high level of coordination, and I think that was their downfall. Phantom Legion are not the team you give the 1v1 gunfights to and you go try to play guerrilla warfare in the middle of the map. That's what they do best. And so Wichita not bringing their pinches is a serious misunderstanding, and serial even, of the Phantom Legion style of play. And they've got to quickly work to try and react and change that. Otherwise, Phantom Legion could take this vertical extension of reading and dining and translate that into a 2-2 scoreline.
I really want to see where these castle barricades are going to go. We do see one on Cigar. I want to see where those other two are going to be placed. So far, I don't know about you, Reese, but I feel like I need a magnifying glass. I don't see where they went. And those could be a huge change in the pushing structure of how Wichita Wolves want to take the first floor. If they even go to the first floor, which is a strong probability. In fact, the repels tell me, yes, it's going to happen. But without those castles seemingly going down to our knowledge, this could make or break how they want to push this structure. Now, we did see one body inside of Train. They're not going to get shot out or even caught out. But as we see that push go down, the only thing really on the defensive line that's slowing down this attack has to be Castle's 3 giant barriers. And if they're not able to do that, we could see a repeat of Bar.
Wichita have got to be efficient with their clear in this round. Buzz will go on cams below the skylight. Hopefully nobody on Wichita gets a bit antsy, otherwise he could have been down,
oh, no.
done and dead early.
Reese, look at Buzz!
Buzz he's got his rotate, but Wichita are watching this eagerly. Tyrant falls off of the angle, and Buzz is still waiting here. He'll shoot another drone. Now, surely Wichita are aware of this. Dan tries to go aggressive. The pre-fire works not in his favor, but Anarchy suffering a bit of damage for it, and Buzz has now escaped from Shiko's spot. Wichita have got to move quickly now. As soon as Buzz has given up control of the bar and freezer, they need to move in to eliminate Dan from inside of Cocktail, because the more time you waste on the top floor is less with which to execute the vertical play, which is the big crux of a successful vertical extension. Trist is finally going to fall back. Giorno is there with him, the duo waiting on the white stairs, and Dan will drop the hatch. Phantom Legion have accepted the reality now that Wichita have taken control of bar and Cocktail. The third floor is surely theirs, and the vertical play will begin. It's Anarchy to open up the first section. Watching through inside of Deep Freezer will open up more and more. It's Dan who tries to fight back. Dearly here with only a little bit of health, running like mad to find some safe ground. Trist as well, walking off the red stairs, playing his life here. Phantom Legion don't want to give this control up.
You know, they say that the 20-second meta was going to die with Neon Dawn, but I don't know about you, Reese, but it's 34 seconds left and not a single body has dropped on this entire matchup. But with that being said, though, we're seeing a lot of top-down control still being brought out by Wichita. It's going to be Trist that falls first. Iski's there for the kill, but it's just an all-out pandemonium from here. Everyone from that top floor fought somewhat hard to get it, and now that they've reaped the rewards, there's not really much else left after they've, dried up the tap. With that being said, though, Iski's going to go in, the plant's going to go down by itself, and Dan might be the playmaker here to stop the plant. Instead, no, it's going to be a trapping, pinching maneuver with one of the claws going down. It's pandemonium again. Iski with a triple kill is able to find one, but Giorno's the last one alive to make things work. Unfortunately, though, he's going to die, riddled with bullets on 90, and with that plant going down, Wichita Wolves win for another clinical and executed insertion inside of what is becoming a very slowly decaying corpse almost of Phantom Legion's defense. We can only hope now, Reese, that they're able to bring it back a little bit on the attack. With 2 more rounds in this first half, they need to make some desperate changes.
And changes will certainly have to be made for this third floor hold by Phantom Legion. They lock in the same picks. It's not going anywhere. And I don't know if they're just so set in their ways as to not make any possible switches. Trist, he's onto the Valkyrie, but this is still fairly similar to what we've seen. The operator lineup is fairly set in its ways for the Phantom Legion defense, and they've got to have recognized that Wichita have such an expert understanding of what makes the third floor bar and cocktail bomb site tick. You don't win 2 flawless rounds back-to-back without knowing what the attack must consist of. And Wichita Wolves, with this site coming up and with these same veritable op picks just changed by a millimeter, I think this is looking like a 4th attacker win.
You know, something I've noticed is that the rest of Phantom Legion, they really misplaced their aggression on the defense. You remember Trist in round 2 on Bar? The last time we saw Bar, actually, he was a mousy hiding behind that little leather upholstered chair, and he was almost caught out by Tyrant. That was pretty aggressive, but when, in the last round, everyone from reading on the defense was holding upstairs, they purposely gave up the entire control of that top floor, without even taking a gunfight, which in of itself is good for them. They didn't get killed, but they also had the opportunity to get a kill and they chose not to. So it seems like their aggression's a little misplaced. They're going for the peaks that are fundamentally against them rather than the ones that could work in their benefit. They're opting not to take. But the big difference here now, Reese, is that Trist is not the Mozzie anymore. He's playing aggressive again here, but he might have a little bit more comfortability in this position.
Here comes Anarchy dropping the hatch, taking a ton of fight, and he will get on the drone quickly rather than try to chase Trist. Giorno with a bit of health lost. Not sure exactly where that was from, perhaps from up on the skylight. Anarchy moves in, but Phantom Legion put no effort into trying to remain in control of Cigar Lounge. All they've got is Disturbs below with the Valcam to assist for the Nitro play, and ostensibly an Electro Claw on the red wall. Iski is holding off the rotate. He waits inside of reading on that previous defense. We saw him collect a triple kill, but it's Devil in this round who gets the opener. With the Valkyrie dead, more Black Eyes will be tossed, but now you've got the perfect player to sit on that Black Eye camera and feed Disturbs the intel. We'll see Buzz wraps around the corner. He guns down the IQ to move this into a 4v4, and suddenly the man advantage is now shifting tides. It's a 4v2, make that 3v2, now a 2v2. Wichita Wolf fighting hard to make sure this control is under their thumb, recovering the diffuser the next step. We'll have to see the Zoe go and get it. Phantom Legion, though, they're mostly off-site.
Yeah, they're completely off-site. It's going to be a retake game right now. Tyrant has that diffuser, and he's going in for the prime position to plant. It's going to be a great area to plant it because up above, he can go for the skylight if he has enough time. Buzz might be going in from the left and try to cut things off, and we have our other one, Disturbance, trying to take down Faded from the right side. But that plant still goes down. Tyrant finds Buzz, but no, it's a 1v1, a double kill for Disturbs, able to bring things back home, and that was a beautiful swerve, going back into the freezer and showing them what a real meat locker looks like with a double kill into a defuse. That could have been a great chance for Wichita to go for the repel, take skylight, and have the angle, but there wasn't enough time, and Trist is shaky right now, and Reese, can you blame him?
I don't know, Keg.
I can.
If it's one thing, Wichita's attack on the top floor is not unbeatable. Phantom Legion proved that, and despite the plant going down, despite Wichita moving to an early lead, their failure to lock down their positions and capitalize on the very man advantage they fought so hard to secure, I think, was the downfall for them. It was very chaotic there towards the mid-round. It came through to a 2v4 that was made a little bit easier when it became equalized, but that third floor bomb site was supposed to be the one Wichita were taking. Now we're back down to the kitchen. The first right hook dealt by Phantom Legion, their comeback victory in round 3. Can they get it done again?
You know, I think they can. I think they have a chance, both teams really, to bring this back. We saw this not really work out too well for Wichita, and this was the first kind of knock in the armor, you could say, for Wichita's overall attack. This is the first time we saw them in a position where they were uncomfortable. Phantom Legion, they took advantage of that, and they won by pretty much turtling onto the kitchen site, which, you know, if you don't do that, you are a madman, and, well, they've proven to be not so insane when it comes to this game. However, let's look at Trist right now. He is the Vigil, maybe looking to get a spawn peek, and this is one of those situations, Reese, where I mentioned about the misplaced aggression for Phantom Legion's defense. It's their last time to prove that they know how to play the defense at least aggressively correctly, but we see what could possibly be a great shot here, but no! Again, the misplaced aggression! That's the wrong shot, Trist. I know, Trist, I'm very disappointed in you. I'm not your dad, but right now I'm your casting dad, and I'm disappointed. Hopefully next time you can learn your lesson, because, you know, game day is not going to be much longer at this rate. But Reese, now that one of Phantom Legion, their only roamer, so to speak, is dead,
Right.
I have to rely on that turtle again.
And it was Trist who spearheaded Phantom Legion's success in their previous roam defense. Buzz will creep up the white stairs to link with his partner of Disturbs. They're playing the hatch off, so the rotate is here. If Wichita can clamp down, eliminate these two roamers, there's a great avenue open directly to the objective. Iski is waiting. Does he have the intel of Buzz hiding in the corner? It doesn't seem like it. If they get this ping, perhaps the Jackal scans the feet of one Buzz. Iski has a freebie lined right up for him. It's a ping for Buzz, who watches the corner, the wraparound, the pre-fire. He'll drop the hatch as he escapes the clutch of Wichita Wolves, but Giorno now onto Anarchy, and Disturbs has yet to relieve this position. They seem to know he's still in here, and wrapping around the corner, Iski locks off his one method of escape. They've got to get a drone here. If Disturbs wins any of these fights, this is a huge victory for his team. Tyrant tries to go for the long angle, scanning the foot. The detection is there. The Mozzie is known. The pre-fire comes through, and Disturbs is dead. Disturbs falls and faded with the kill. Now a 3v4. Phantom Legion with a big disadvantage.
Dead like a summer ham, Reese. And that's going to be another one gone for Phantom Legion. You've lost probably your two most aggressive players on the defense now. And Iski has full control of a rotate that is pivotal for those now deceased rotators to get back onto the site. But you can take advantage of that yourself. You can just drop down. You can get a double kill potentially if you're in the shoes of this Ash. But no, the Maestro cleverly hiding away just below the sight lines of Ash. But with that being said, though, Dan has very little means of moving around. He's got to rely on an Evil Eye, or maybe his deceased loved ones can rely on that as well. But as, of course, we go into the Matrix, it's going to be a little bit slower, and we may have to guess how this is all going to go down. But with only a few seconds left in this round, it's going to turn into pandemonium as these attackers are forced to get onto the site and maybe go in for the pinch. But no, they can't pinch because the diffuser's down. Tyrant's able to find one, but the rest of the kill feed's a sea of blue going onto the orange. A huge lead for Wichita Wolves flounders as Phantom Legion's able to turtle again and turn Wichita Wolves, these beautiful wolves no less, into turtle soup by using the same exact measures they had with a huge mana disadvantage.
Well, there we go. Phantom Legion, they managed to win it out in the end. It's 2 in a row to see themselves equal at the half. Phantom Legion push on to fight further, but now with a difficult Kafe Dostoevsky attack on the horizon. Can they get it done? Well, we'll have to wait and see, Max, as the bomb site between Wichita is yet to be decided. It's still contested, so who knows where we're going. It's one of the bomb sites. They're going to pull a trick on Wichita, so they won't know which bomb site we're going to. With the castle in play and the pulse as well, it feels like this was kind of a reading hold, or perhaps even third floor. Who knows? We will be going to mining. Mining.
No, it's
okay,
Aviator.
Wichita.
You saw it.
Okay, Max.
I mean, trains are like the planes of the ground, right?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
Tyrant with the castle barricade to lock off wedding here is an interesting choice, and Wichita run a modified version of a hold that I've seen from Ape, where you will set up this rotate here with the reinforcement onto the reading wall. They don't have the reinforcement rotate set up on the mining hallway, which maybe is coming soon, or perhaps is not a feature of this Wichita defense. They've got to rotate instead from the dark corner. But, I don't know, Keg, what's your take on this? You think this is going to work?
I mean, it's hard to say. We haven't seen these two teams on these sides play just yet. We're obviously not seeing a spawn peak, so already that's a step in the right direction for Wichita Wolves. But they're starting off on reading. That says a lot of things to me. One, they might be overly confident. Or two, they're confident just enough to know that throwing off Phantom Legion's attack onto a site that's typically considered to be a tertiary site could be the right move to make. Now, they are playing it a little bit more aggressive than usual, I would say. Look at where all these different defenders are. No less, a castle's in play that we don't typically see. It's not unheard of. But again, these are some interesting barricades that we don't normally see either. One I do like that we can see, and perfectly be paused as well, is that one was inside laundry. So if any attacker drops down there without too much intel, Reese, they're going to be trapped in there like a prison cell. But that's going to be up to Triss to decide whether or not he's going to fall for that, or if he's going to go for the full roam clear and take one of the stairs.
Surely PLG would drone that out before dropping into the jail cell.
I don't know.
And if it's Trist, I mean, he's got the breaching charges to get out of there, right? So he can rotate if he wants to. Tyrant.
He would take damage, though. The room is very small. Oh, but Deviled Eggs is going to break the ice a little bit, take down Dan, and that is going to be the beginning of what could possibly be the end already. You don't really necessarily need hard breaches when it comes to reading. It's helpful, of course, especially when that's one of your only two. But a second one goes down. Eric, he's able to find Disturbs, and the Zofia is gone as well. Suddenly now things, resources no less, are becoming a little bit more scarce. The pinch coming out from Iski and Faded on white might be able to find those who are roaming around on white, but again, rotating back up, getting that diffuser in hand, and playing the vertical angles may be the move to make for now. But that vertical angle, Reese, it's got to be occupied by somebody, and going down to up, it's going to be Tyrant hiding inside of a train. He has the angle advantage, so to speak, as in there's only a small angle where he can kill, and the Ash only has a small one to kill him, but he's got that 1.5 that could be helpful. But Ash wants to make a new angle instead.
40 seconds to go here. Phantom Legion down by 2, have some serious work laid out ahead of them. Breaching charge will detonate there just above the rat. Rotate, it's Buzz who drops down to get the first kill. Reading control is theirs, and now a 3v3 as things are equalized. The Valkyrie tucked up at the corner here, Faded close. Can he get this kill? He spots it. The Nomad caught off guard. 13 seconds diffuser in the hands of Trist, but here comes Tyrant from train. 2-2, Wichita Wolves will get it.
Well, I don't know where that train's going, but it's nowhere good. It seems another kill, or another round coming out from Wichita Wolves. They did throw off Phantom Legion, it seems. And I love I'm going to assume it's bait. I'm sure the analysts could dive a little bit more into that. But we saw a lot of the hatches not be reinforced on that top floor. I wouldn't necessarily say it was bait, but they wanted to reprioritize where those reinforcements went on the main floor itself. Normally, we could see those reinforced or maybe even used as a rotate, but they were left completely soft instead, Reese, and I just thought that was an interesting point of contention, as if they wanted the attackers to go for it just so they could have that angle.
You know what, Keg? I like the thought. Reading room here. So Wichita, they get to play twice in a row on the second floor. That's not something that happens all too commonly. What's your take on this defense, though?
Well, we saw this once before, or at least to an extent we've seen it before, so I'm curious to see what micromanagement we could see coming out again. Second floor, yet again, just a slightly different bomb site. Now, Phantom Legion, you should be going in expecting what to do and really changing things on the fly, Reese, and this is going to be a tough position for Phantom if they're not able to capitalize on their mistakes from the last round. Sure, it's a different bomb site, but it's fundamentally not too much different. And if they're not able to really figure out how Wichita Wolves played the first time and move around that, even going in a different direction, they might have just relinquished their control of the entire game.
This could be a large deciding round. Honestly, if Wichita take this here with 2 defenses in the bag on the middle floor, and now especially that honestly quaternary bomb site, winning that gives you a huge possibility. And if you take the mining as well, then you get the baker's pick. You get to go between the top floor or down in the kitchen, both of which I think Wichita are pretty keen to play. Just from a numbers point of view, if we were to see either of those in terms of the bar defense, that is an 85% win percentage. Prep is 57%, so not exactly a standout number there, almost even, but they still got a bit of an edge. Wichita so far, a strong performance with a good understanding of what goes down on the top floor. I can't say the same for that kitchen defense, though. Their attacks on the kitchen were very claustrophobic. They were very slow, and I don't think that gives anyone a whole lot of confidence that Wichita understand what makes it strong to play in the kitchen, and it's got to be that slowdown. So maybe, hey, they'll see what went wrong and figure that's how you get the thing going, but it's Disturbs who finds the momentum, and Tyrant will fall early.
Yeah, I guess there's just a commonality for both teams for the Mozzie to normally fall first. It's kind of a shame. I like seeing Mozzie in play, but unfortunately, that's just not going to be the case here. Instead, we do see the swing coming out. Devil's going to have to hide away very quickly, though, only getting nicked in the shoulder. Trist is able to find the shots, but will that be enough? Because suddenly, Trist and Buzz almost by themselves, a little bit of Disturbs action as well, having to push on into this train area. They're going to be peeking around, they're looking around, but they have almost no info on where the rest of Wichita is. They're peeking around everything they can. They know at least one's inside trains, and one may be on their left side, which would be reading and therefore faded. Otherwise, the rest of the defenders seem to be an anomaly. They're trying to push in, they're playing cautiously, and with only less than a minute left, they're going to have to make a decision one time now or another, because they might be running out of options fast. But with all that being said, though, they're going to have to push in. Disturbs wants to find this action. Deviled Eggs is going to turn into Deviled Eggs, and that's going to be a 4v3 coming through as the gunfights turn things from Siege into maybe a different kind of FPS game. But Nuketown 24/7, not going to be too much in play here. And Reese, things are slowly evening in terms of man count, but it looks like all but one for the side of Phantom Legion.
Giorno comes up on the flank, but Anarchy is well aware, and he'll stop it dead in its tracks. Bullet holes played here by Anarchy, spotted through. It's Faded who finds that kill. Can they make it a second? Dan goes down. It's Buzz to fall as well. Wichita Wolves win round number 8, and they will race forward with a 5-3 lead.
Yeah, I mean, overall, that was a really close round for both teams. I loved how Phantom Legion was able to force and pretty much brute force their way into train at the very last second, or at least they were able to, and put a lot of pressure onto the bomb site itself. But here's the thing, Reese, it did look a lot better than what they were able to bring out 2 rounds ago. But overall, just that last second collapse was just a little too much for, I would almost say, both teams. But in the end, one came out on top, and now we're going to be moving on to Kitchen again, which was a huge focal point for Phantom Legion on their own defense. But I believe this is the first time we're going to be seeing it on Wichita's playing field, and are they going to go for the same strategy again?
Just maybe here. They've got the rotation opened up. I like this setup. Rather than Phantom Legion, who played with the heavy focus on kind of a loose sight hold, and everything was about the roam on the 2nd and 3rd floor, Wichita Wolves will play it a little closer to home. Castle Barricade deployed on the restaurant window denies the VIP watch. We've also got plenty of utility stacked up here inside of the bakery. A Banshee to stall the progress, an Evil Eye to pester and pick away at them, and the barbed wire to trap them up. And we'll see another Castle Barricade put down on the wedding door. No rotate yet, which is odd. Usually,
you know what I'm excited for?
See that. What are you excited for, Keg?
I'm excited to see how a Rooney can mess with Kitchen site. I think Castle and a Rooney on this site will be crazy.
I could see that. I mean, like, if you toss the lasers on the doorway, that feels like that would be really frustrating to clear. Like, you know, you spend all this utility, and then all of a sudden, there's just lasers in your way.
No, we gotta push them
in their way.
It'll be like the Resident Evil movie where they dodge all the lasers, or at least they think, and then they just fall into billions of little pieces.
That's a terrifying thought.
Right? Yeah, exactly. That's a Rooney.
Here comes Devil. The pre-fire. A flashbang is launched back behind the bar. I think Dan will go for the swing. Rather, Giorno tries to cook a frag grenade. Don't think it'll get much work done, and instead Giorno will die. Trist holding close. It's Dan with the refrag, though. He guns down Tyrant, so the Malusi is long gone. Devil is waiting here. A drone moves in. This is almost an opportunity, but Devil will lose out on it. And Trist escapes with no damage done. Trying to go aggressive, Wichita have some coverage from deeper within Kitchen cooking, but I think it's safe to assume Devil is likely dead in the ensuing moments.
Yeah, he might be scrambled a few seconds from now. In fact, he does become scrambled. Trist is able to take him down, but that's going to be a lot of pressure being put on Bakery. But here's the thing, your Maverick's gone. You can't make those bullet hole peaks. with the reinforcements anymore. You have to rely on the exothermics opening up, which open up without any troubles at all. Anarchy, though, is in a great spot. He's able to take advantage of the rotates. Look and see at that castle barricade, which has not opened up yet, could be opened up, but now he has a playing field to work with. That right side wall is going to be soft, and he's able to use it as his own bullet holes and take everyone out from behind. And there you go, not one, but I'm assuming going to be two. It's frozen for me. But there we go, a double kill from Anarchy. That's what you want to see from a castle. A UMP of all things, able to slaughter the sheep of Phantom Legion's side. And now there's only one left alive. It's Disturbs. But it's frozen for me yet again, so I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen with this Zofia. But he has to push on up because he's out of options. Bullets going through everywhere, knocking everything out except their skull. Only one way to peek in, that's going to be through the chassis of A. But slowly peeking through, looking to see where these defenders that slaughtered his friends suddenly went, or it becomes a ghost town. Everyone on Wichita's side has evacuated. They're looking to get the proper angle. They're not looking at the right thing if you're Disturbs, and they fall to the ground, not peeking the right angles. Wichita Wolves bring it to match points, Reese. And we may very well see map 2 in only a few rounds, if not just one.
Here we go. It's the opportunity to close things out. Wichita looking to exit this with a strong performance on their pick of Kafe. Just those 3 rounds to the name of Phantom Legion, who struggle so far to get any traction on their offense. Mining is here again, so we'll see Wichita confident in this quaternary bomb site. They'll say no bar cocktail for us. Instead, we'll go for something a bit more uncharacteristic and head down to mining. I think starting to get some feelings for mining. It's a fun bomb site. I like it. It's
Valentine's Day's in 2 months.
Not those kind of feelings, Keg.
Oh. I mean, it's totally cool if you do.
I don't know.
I'm not judging. I'm not judging.
I am not in love with Fireplace and Mining, Keg.
Why?
It's just a fun bomb site to cast.
I don't know. I think it's cute.
Okay. All right, Max. Let's get back on track here, bud.
Oh, I get it, because it's mining.
No. I'm sorry, that one fell flat.
That's alright, it happens.
Can I go now, Max?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Phantom Legion on the westward approach. The pre-fire towards the bakery door. Disturbs looking to pick off one of the Wichita defenders, but I don't think they've got anybody lurking quite down there. Iski will bring the rather elusive Legion. A ping comes out, a red mark inside of the bottom brown steps. They've got a rotate open up here. This is quite curious. A reinforcement is dedicated as well, so Wichita will go for a rather unconventional vertical hold. Rather than going above mining, we'll see them go below, and I like this. Devil is waiting with the SMG-11. It's a tough fight all the way down to the whiskey bar door. Perhaps banking a little bit on an unaware attacker, but the drone will move through to provide subsequent intel. Buzz escapes through, but he will be dealt a bit of hurt by the player on the red stairs angle, and Anarchy is still waiting. He's droned out. Little does he know, Buzz is moving through prep just as we speak. Rounding the corner, it's the ARX to claim his life. A pre-fire to make it a second. Can it happen? Maybe not.
Yeah, already starting things off with a defensive man disadvantage. It's going to be probably one of your biggest playmakers already gone. That Pulse had so much potential for the C4, for the cardiac sensor to peek out anybody from Phantom Legion's attack. But instead now, with that C4 at the very least, you got to rely on Devil and you got to rely on Faded, who, by the way, 17-3 is a pretty damn good scoreline for your first match against Phantom Legion for this set so far. That's really good. But can he bring it to 20 in this next round? What could very well be the final round of map number 1 of 2 here. Well, Disturbs does have an angle, so to speak, but Deviled is in the blind spot behind that chassis. Meanwhile, everyone else on Phantom Legion's kind of completely separated. They're playing these individual singular plays, probably hoping to coagulate and meet up together at the very end. But Reese, that spells danger for me because we haven't seen Phantom Legion really win these 1v1s effectively.
Aided really having a standout performance today. He is the top-rated player, I think, across Wichita. Dan with another opener, though, will guarantee that if it's the 20 bomb, it'll have to come in the next round. Tyrant on the refrag gets buzzed. That's a big kill. Losing your Nomad. Disturbs, though, taking a bit of damage. I don't think he was aware the Devil had come up on the flank. The coverage is here. The rotate will come through, but Devil is forced back. A Nitro Cell sent through. It downs the player of Mav, and Trist actually dies. The prone angle is punished here by Dan. A 2v2 with Giorno on the ground. 3 seconds to go. Just round the corner, it's a Wichita Wolves victory. They take it 7-3.
That's right. That was a pretty effective victory coming out from Wichita Wolves. They knew exactly what to do. They fixed a lot of their strategies from the rounds they lost and immediately readapted them into the rounds which they then after won. There wasn't a time ever where Phantom Legion strung 2 rounds in a row, at least to my knowledge. But with all that being said and done, you gotta give it to Phantom Legion. They tried really hard to change these micro strategies, but I would say the effective issue with a lot of what they did was their macro strategies. But I'm going to leave that to the analysts to let us know. Maybe I'm completely right, maybe completely wrong, but it's going to be up to them to figure it out.
I'm sure they'll be glad to give their 2 cents. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Jenna and Chief.
Cage, Sticula, my friends, thank you so much. Jenna, also thank you for joining me today on the analyst desk. How are we doing?
Great. My cam right now though is bugging out on me. I'm looking a little bit here. Let me see if I can mess around with this in a second. But yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, we are finally on the analyst desk, and we're going to be looking at a few different rounds. You want to kick us off, Chief?
And it seems like Wichita Wolves has been able to amend all their problems they've been having. They've been going to Kafe here in Storm Competitive as well as in different leagues, and they've been struggling to synergize, communicate, especially on attack. And Kafe can punish uncoordinated attacking teams, but constantly we see Wichita Wolves getting free information off their drones. They're placing it in flank spots. That's a great way of putting it. And then droning in their primary entries, getting control of the map, and basically dictating the pace of the rounds and forcing Phantom Legion to have their backs against the wall where they have no other option of trying to collect heads. And that plays perfectly into Wichita Wolves' strategy because they want you to be aggressive against them.
Right, and exactly, you were so right. On round 4, that is the biggest display of this, right? We saw the kind of claustrophobic boa constrictor, as you coined it, strategy where Wichita Wolves, they were able to play very vertically. They got control of that. They're forcing Phantom Legion into those uncomfortable positions, and then they capitalize off of it, right? They take that opportunity to go horizontal on Phantom Legion. They take control of White Stairs. They take control of Pillar, and essentially inundate, they overwhelm Phantom Legion on all sides. And that right there is probably one of the best ways that you can win Reading Room, because not only are the defense at a loss of words, but they honestly just play right into the attack's hand. Simply. I mean, what else is there to say about it?
Yeah, you basically put the defenders into a box and you start to compress the box. And at a certain point, there's going to be so much defender air pressure in that box, the seams are going to explode and you're going to have defenders everywhere. But if you're an attacker and you're prepared for the blocks to blow up, you're just going to have defenders flying at you and you're just going to be holding mouse 1 and 2, and it's going to be some of the freest kills of your life because you've already played into the strategy. Now, things almost went poorly with Buzz's position over by P1, when you can already see those flank drones and that squishing on through. His positioning, that one little offsite niche, was still enough to allow Wichita Wolves to get a very easy win. And again, the defenders just start flying out their hidey holes.
Right? You are. Now, round 5. Let's look at that. So, the defense, actually, on this Phantom Legion, this is one of their first rounds where they set the pace. They set a definitive pace throughout the round. Wichita Wolves, they were a little bit slow on capturing the roam, there, and Phantom Legion kind of caught them off guard. Now, what I mean by this is we obviously see that the site, I believe, is on, is that third floor? It is third floor. I'm
This
catching
is a
myself
reading.
off guard. Oh, this is a reading. Okay. I know, I'm catching myself off guard going back and forth, but essentially, Wichita Wolves did not catch the roam. Phantom Legion kind of fell through the cracks on their attack, and realistically, they just caught the roam way too slow throughout the round. I know I'm going in circles, Chief. You can take this one because this round was a little bit lost on me.
Well, even us analysts do an oopsie. I just said it was reading, but it's actually upstairs. So you're 100% correct. That's what you say, Chief. You know what? You may think you know a lot about this game, but you're just sometimes particularly dumb. But attacking teams that set the pace of rounds are attacking teams that win. And common thought is, well, the defenders should always be setting the pace of the rounds. And here in round number 5, the defenders do exactly that. Most of the bar holds were basically one lone defender off site, and he gets caught off guard and his rotation back up. Phantom Legion understood that Wichita wants to put a lot of pressure over on the cocktail side. So they basically relegate 2 members of their team to deal with that reading room pressure. And it's Iski on an island by himself. He's a phenomenal fragger, but if you put him in a crossfire against 2 members of Phantom, I don't care how good he is, he's not going to win that engagement. And things look very bad here because Wichita Wolves, when their strategy goes to doo-doo land, they're still able to come back. And that was kind of the old idea of Homeland that we said a few days ago. When their strategy went away, they just started to click heads, but they weren't able to click enough in round 5.
I think that was a great analyzing of the round, much better than I was able to do. I didn't even get the site right on that one. Yeah,
wow.
That was a little oopsie from me. That was a little oopsie. But
that was an oopsie for me too. So
round 3. Let's take a look at it. See, this is a round that I actually wanted to look on because this was Phantom Legion's first round that they were able to win. Round 3, this was Triss. So we know Phantom Legion as a team that they know how to play very frag heavy. They rely on Triss for a lot of their plays, especially defense-wise. And so when Triss is on that roam, he can tend to be very, very deadly, especially if he is gone unchecked. And in this situation, he definitely was gone unchecked. And that was catastrophic for Wichita Wolves. And when I mean catastrophic, I mean it was round ending. You saw right there, yeah. Triss. He went down, but he wasted a lot of time, and he got some good kills. It ended with Faded being the only one on Wichita Wolves up. And at that point in the round, I mean, you kind of lost. You don't really have anything else you could do, and it's because of one single player that catalyzed that entire round for you to win it all.
And it looked like Wichita Wolves was just starting to rush that round. They knew that they could take map control very quickly, and they take map control very quickly. But they start to skip steps while working so fast. Basically, when your brain starts to work at 6,000 RPM, well, obviously you can't function at that high level, and you're going to start to make mistakes. And one of the most basic mistakes they made was a flank drone on red. And if there was still a flank drone on red, nobody was watching it. We hear a lot about SSG and basically Bosco and Thinking Nate being relegated to sitting on a cam for 2 minutes and 30 seconds till they actually have to participate in this round. That sounds absurd to a lot of T3 players, but there's a reason why SSG won the Invitational doing basically that exact same style of strategy.
And I guess the question falls to, what could Wichita Wolves have done better in that situation of round 3? I mean, exactly what you said, right? You got to keep more flank drones. You got to be able to watch your back way more effectively. We know that they did not make that same mistake twice, which is why we don't even need to necessarily talk about, oh, what can you do better? Because they're not going to do the same exact thing every single round, and that is exactly as well what makes this Wichita Wolves Phantom Legion game so unique, because every single round is different, and we can honestly go through and analyze every single round. But we will not do that because we will move on, I believe, to the next game, if I am correct. for the
Indeed we
casters.
will. Keg, Sticula, take us away!
Thank you, guys. Great job on the analyst desk, as always. But Max, we're ready to get into the second map of the evening. It'll be Clubhouse. Phantom Legion's pick is on the way. I'm really excited to get into this. Clubhouse, maybe it's a bit overplayed, and yes, it is kind of a samey type of map, but I always find some enjoyment in casting a good Clubhouse.
I find enjoyment casting, or at least at the very least, hopefully every kind of map, but Clubhouse is always a little bit of a difficult one to sometimes stay glued to the screen. But we saw with Wichita Wolves and Phantom Legion, two very distinctly different styles of play coming out, but hopefully Phantom Legion can capitalize on their mistakes, especially what the analysts told us, and it won't just be the Wichita Wolves comeback special. I think after a little while, Phantom Legion warmed up quite a bit to playing against WW, but it's going to be up to them now on Clubhouse to see if that momentum can keep going even through defeat, or if they're just going to be relegated back to their last place slot in the entire league. But Reese, I want to know real quick, going into this map in particular, we've seen both these teams play. Do you think Clubhouse could make or break Phantom Legion?
Wow, really putting me on the spot, Keg. Yes,
no, my bad.
I think it does. No, I think you've got to take this Clubhouse here for Phantom Legion. It's your pick. We're here and now, week 7. I mean, you've got to get something out of this. At least for Phantom Legion, bring it to overtime. Please, boys, please get this to OT. You've got to find something here. Otherwise, the playoffs road is like, I don't know, trying to bench press a car. It's going to be so difficult to get back into this one. It just seems like there's such a long and arduous fight, and there will be a lot of things that need to slot into place for Phantom Legion to make it to playoffs, even if they win this one. So totally ignoring if they lose here. But we'll see the Thatcher come out first in the ace as well. So leaving the Hibana up on the board for Clubhouse is an interesting pick.
Oh, I was expecting fully that Thatcher would be in play and Hibana would be taken out. This is very Shadow Legacy of them. Not quite Neon Dawn, but I'm curious to see if that's going to make a huge make or break difference. A lot of the times in the last few days, we've only seen Hibana banned. We haven't really been able to see on streams what she can really bring to the table with her new changes. But now, at least for a first year for a little while, we get to see firsthand how broken people allegedly claim Hibana could be on this map. And Stick, I'm curious to see if that's going to make a huge difference, especially with on your screen, those two defenders, Kaid and Wamai, we're going to have to say goodbye to yet again, or at least for the Wamai, 2 maps in a row now. But here we go, map number 2, round number 1. It's going to be going to CCTV, and already I want to see that Hibana more than anything.
Well, I don't know if Phantom Legion are going to give us that opportunity to see the Hibana, especially on a CCTV.
Why?
On a CCTV attack, you don't really need the Hibana. You know, it's not like the basement where a Hibana is pretty much required. Buzz is looking to 6 picks, so he might give us the treat. There it is. There's the Hibana. 3 Heart Breachers. What are we playing? A 2019 meta? You've got all the Heart Breachers you could ever ask for.
Do you think we're going to see the SSG roam again? Do you think we're going to see... Oh, man, 2019. That's like a huge blind spot in my memory. I'm thinking, like, when I think of before 2020 Siege, I just think of Operation Chimera with, Lion being insanely broken, Finka being underutilized. Oh, she still is. And also, Maestro and Alibi just coming out for the first time. But 2019, hey, maybe we'll have to see that newfangled operator called Mazi.
Maybe we will. Wichita bringing up the first defense, though. This is contrary to what we saw kick off the first map, where they were on the attack and they made a strong 3-3 split, ultimately carrying them through to the victory and allowing nothing more for Phantom Legion. Getting that 3-3 split, I think, was a big contributor. It left Wichita really just only those 4 rounds they needed, and they got every single one of them. Perhaps we'll see something similar go down here on Clubhouse, where the attackers have to win a certain margin of rounds, and if you don't, you're not going to be in the best position. Iski on a loose roam down inside of blue with support from Anarchy holding in lounge. Giorno taking a bit of damage, I believe from the electrification on the wall, and Devil gets aggressive here, trying to spot the foot. This could mean the early death of the Maverick, but it's a deep angle he'll have to watch. Devil through the wall will get Giorno. What a pick to kick this one off. The Maverick, well, he's got the trick done, but had one played on him in return.
Well, you know what they say, Stick, silly rabbit, tricks are for kids, and I guess they really made a kid out of Giorno there because he fell from a simple Maverick trick just like that. It's gonna be, not the best start for Phantom Legion, one that we were really hoping would be a confident one going out of that last map in a loss. And now, this is not the position you want to be in, losing one of your 3, sure, hard breachers, but still not a great position to be in. We do see Disturb, so taking out Iski, it's going to be one of the top fraggers gone right off the rip, a Jaeger no less, but still, that damage is going to be lasting about losing that Maverick. And we're going to have to wait and see how the entire fundamental change of Phantom Legion now needs to redevelop. Sure, losing only one operator, but losing a key one at that.
Well, good thing they elected to bring the full lineup of hard breachers here, otherwise they would have been in a bit of a pickle. Tyrant guns down Triss, that star fragger, the Zoe is dead. Disturbs has got intel close on the corner, the Malusi is spotted. Disturbs gets a double kill, but turning his back, maybe sandwiched in a crossfire between the garage rafters and top red angle. Faded holding this safe will go for the swing, but it looks like Disturbs has moved deeper and closer back towards the bar. 50 health and a little bit more to his name, but still a low time situation. Phantom Legion have got to get moving here. Faded with the nitro in his pocket, an SMG-11 tight on this reinforcement angle. It'll be a tough ask for the execute to come through. An X-Cairo set will detonate on the wall, but Devil will find Disturbs. Now a 2v3. Phantom Legion have got a lot of work to get pushed in. Phantom Legion with some deployable utility. Flashbangs are launched through. It's a 2-way crossfire. Make that a 3-way. Faded guns down Buzz, and it's just Dan left to get the 1v3. Will he make it happen with 10 seconds to go? No, he won't. Devil on the jump out from 51. Window Wichita Wolves with round number 1.
Yeah, Wichita Wolves continue from the last map, bringing out the aggression this time in a little bit more of an appropriate setting than, say, we saw on Phantom Legion when they were playing on the defense of Kafe. They're able to get those early aggressions, they know where to place themselves especially, and they're able to get those gunfights. That is the most basic thing I think an analyst or a commentator in this game can say, Reese, but it's so painfully true when it comes to their team. Especially that first kill going from Devil on to, I believe that was Giorno. That was paramount to the overall strategy and the charisma almost that this team can bring to the table. It's a matter now of Phantom on a new map, no less, bringing out the same exact operator lineup again. If they can redistribute themselves onto a much more difficult bomb site, that being Jim, this should be easier for them or much more difficult, no less. And Reese, I'm curious to hear your thoughts of how this could go for the attackers.
Leaving Mira up on the board here is not the most fun for Phantom Legion. Clearing the window will be difficult, but you've got a wide berth of the hard breaching utility, so it shouldn't be totally impossible. What you're likely to see is one Mira placed on the bathroom. I think that's a given. The second is more up to Tyrant and his discretion. We might see one placed on the logistics red wall where you can see a rotate, or maybe even Tyrant will just keep it in his pocket the whole round. Who knows yet, and we'll have to wait if we want to find out where it gets placed. Anarchy with the reinforcement now, I think, does give me the confidence to say that is where the next Black Mirror will be placed. Don't know about you, but I think this strategy with the windows is going to be a pretty difficult one to get and defeat. Not sure what's going on with the ping up there. I think Disturbs maybe... Oh, there's the other mirror window. It's on the jacuzzi wall. Okay. All right, Tyrant.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that mirror window. It's interesting, don't get me wrong, but is it going to be effective? That's an actual dice toss. That could go either way, and interesting. Well, we're going to have to wait and see how that develops out going forwards, but in the meantime, we are seeing a split push coming out regardless. We do see Disturbs down below, possibly going to go up and meet with the rest of his team, but a lot of them are focusing on Jacuzzi. They're looking to see whether or not that grenade could be effective, blowing the mirror open no less, if timed perfectly, but it's actually already going to be open instead. Not entirely sure what opened that up, possibly from the... I'm not entirely sure what caused that, but Tyrant does have a beautiful angle going down below into Billiards in case anyone wants to go in from a roam clear. Tyrant's in a very good spot right now, Reese. He's able to have so much control yet be in such a small little box.
X Kairos launched onto the Jacuzzi platform wall. They'll need to clear this mute jammer. It's uncertain of whether or not it's gone, and it looks like it is now. So the opening here, perhaps a bit scuffed. It'll be a difficult task to run through, but I think they'll be able to make it happen just so long as Tyrant is cleared here. But I think that's not going to be, probably a little bit easier said than done. Iski will find the first frag, Buzz is down, and so too is Disturbs, losing your key entry player of the Ash. Phantom Legion have got their work cut out for them, getting not only the man advantage back under their thumb, but a confident execute with a really uncertain entry point, support from all directions. You've got the mute waiting in gym, Tyrant with his mirror window still up on the bathroom wall, and also the Jaeger of Iski playing through the hatch. Phantom Legion have got to go for an explosive play here. Maybe it'll be the kill under the Maestro as Trist watches. Anarchy barely avoids it here, but him staying up now will give them the intel to just play this safe. Just keep on waiting, Keg. You don't gotta go anywhere because the mirror window isn't clear, the entry point isn't, and it's just, what do you do next?
Yeah, that's $1 million question, Stick, and I wish I had an answer for you, but I think right now Phantom Legion wishes they had an answer for themselves. No matter where they go, they get swung in Wichita. Wolves get a flawless round over Phantom Legion, and that is not a good sign for Phantom Legion going into the second map. We thought maybe the scoreline would get better this time around, but it seems like they're almost just as lost as they were on Cafe, if not, and I hate to say this, Reese, they seem like they're almost more so lost this time around on the attack. We saw a split push come down. We did see that mirror window and Jacuzzi open up, and I thought that was really cool. But from there, it was Frag City, especially Tyrant, hiding that control center in the bathroom. They were just able to control so much, and they just were not able to capitalize on a single kill effectively.
You described it as a split push, but it felt like they were kind of missing the split. It felt like that was just an entire focus on trying to get in from Jacuzzi with no consideration paid at all to the cache extension. And that would have been a lot of free territory for Phantom Legion to have gotten under their control. And I think that's where we saw this execute fail. Because they tried to have somebody sneak up main, and Trist looked really uncomfortable. He was trying to get the shot on the Anarchy, waiting in Logi, and then he was also concerned about someone swinging him from inside a Master, and he really wasn't able to get anything done. He sat in that same position for the entirety of the round. We also saw the attackers attempted to funnel through the Jacuzzi panel with only that tiny X-Kairos opening. Maybe if they had used one of the exothermics before Dan fell, things would have played out differently, and that wouldn't have been a flawless round, but it was a very chaotic gym attack, which is the bomb site as an attacker you're supposed to win.
Absolutely, and I think, oh, wow, okay. Already Giorno's getting some revenge taking down Iski, but regardless of the fact Tyrant had so much control from an angle most people didn't even know existed. I certainly didn't know about that bathroom angle. But with the mute from all the way over there, Sniper's got nothing on Giorno. Oh my lord. Look at that crossfire angle. Reese, we gotta call forensic files on this one. Holy moly.
So what that is a very common pre-fire spot. Essentially what you'll try to do is catch somebody off on the rotate. When they see that it's an SSG style roam, you're going to assume that the mute is probably upstairs setting some utility, and it looks like he was exactly there. Devil gets a refrag, very creative angle, finds him a kill on a Trist, and nearly a spray through the skull wall onto one of the approaching attackers. But I don't think Dan has opened himself up to this line of fire just yet. Clearing the presence of defenders on the first floor has got to be a priority for Phantom Legion, but it looks like they're coming at this pretty slowly.
They are going pretty slowly. I do like the attempted, but I'm assuming is going to be No, not quite going to be an impact trick. Oh, a little too little, maybe too late here. It's a very small opening, and they do impact trick it successfully onto the kitchen hatch. Some of the damage has already been done, however, that's such a small and minute angle. Another Excarius is going to go down. Impact trick number 2 is going to help cancel it out, but guess what? You can use 2, not 6. You're allowed to do 2, but there we go. It's going to be Anarchy, though, getting some of his revenge, taking down Buzz, and suddenly Pandemonium again. Deviled Eggs is able to find Dan, and now you're down to a hard reach into a soft reach, trying to make something happen from 2 different worlds. They're completely separated, Reese. They have to meet up. Not only that, but they also need a diffuser and to get so many kills. They've linked up, but they're in a tunnel. If that doesn't describe their situation right now, I don't know what does. They're hiding, but they have to play aggressive. Jorno goes in completely audaciously, but Fade is able to get a C4 to end the game. There we go. Wichita Wolves with another round in their favor. And there we go. We're going to watch that again. C4, the brick goes through, sending them away. Yikes. I mean, at that point, they keep losing a pivotal player on Phantom Legion's attack, Reese, and they just fall apart from there.
Even with that opener, I mean, Giorno getting a freebie onto the rotating mute, that should have been, you know, the kill to kick this one off. I imagine after that, everybody on PLG was celebrating. You know, we've got this opening that was just given to us for free, but they forgot to take that kill and double down to clear the roam. Wichita was never forced to evacuate the bar. There wasn't any droning going on, and the attack from Phantom Legion looked very confused, chaotic. There was not really a semblance of structure. Yeah, they linked up at the end, and they were playing smart to get the hatch open. But then, what did we see? What did we see, Keg? What happened with the Maestro?
Well, I think that's a very funny thing for you to mention, Reese. We didn't see anything. Really, I mean, we physically saw stuff on the screen, but of substance? Well, not a lot. They kind of just funneled in wherever they came from, and they got shot accordingly, especially at the very end in dirt. Giorno just said, screw it, I'm going in. We don't have this round. And they went in and he got immediately taken down. Not only was there a crossfire, Reese, but the C4 to boot to end things out was a very explosive way of ending things, but it was not the round for Phantom Legion. Again, 3 in a row. But I spy with my little eye something very interesting on Phantom Legion's operator selection. Do you know what that is?
You'll have to help me out here.
Nothing! It's all the same!
See, I figured you were gonna say something like that. My point, though, in the previous round with the Maestro, is that he killed Hibana. He got Buzz. And that could not have been a more impactful kill. Here's some more impact. Trist goes down, losing out himself. No more lifeline. It's all gone. The M762 is felled. Trist, the star player. I said it in the pregame. You have to look at Trist. His performance will be a demarcation of whether or not Phantom Legion come to play. And with him dying 4 times in a row with no impact, is that sign. Giorno is dead as well, so Disturbs will try to get aggressive. Here's the pre-fire. It fells Tyrant, the Bandit. No more flawless KD for him. It's a 5-1 score line and stat line now. Disturbs may attempt to double down here. If he wins the kill onto the player holding a top red, this is Phantom Legion working their way back into it, but I don't think that exposure is going to happen. More of this Hibana x Kairos economics, you could say, being used on the wall here. Iski will elect not to shoot them, trying to bait out the attackers into thinking that he is not below. We'll see one set is shot on again, but the left side, from the inside point of view, is mute jammed, so they won't be able to detonate things.
I'm very curious to see if Iski can go in for a nasty flank here, or if he's going to play from below. Anarchy doing something similar, going to be playing from below as well on the hatch. C4 is going to go out, but not going to connect to anything right away, because they're going to wait and see for them to push up. Instead, your last 2 attackers are going to be above, but instead they elect the fall. Iski's there to get the clap down on the Buzz, but Dan, now the streamer god himself, the infinite almighty, last alive in a 1v4. Either he can push up and die, or he can drop below and well, die probably. But the answer, or the question is right now, can he make some moves happen? And in a position like this, being stuck in construction, nowhere to go, all but lost again a 4th round in a row, he has to boost up his stats a little bit, and he does so. He finds deviled eggs, but there's still 3 more to deal with. Iski could go from above and take him down in a flank, but he's still waiting on the hatch. Dan can't drop. He's trapped. If he goes anywhere, he's still going to die. He's going to wait out the push, or he's going to wait out the timer. The C4 goes down prematurely, but that's okay. Things happen prematurely. The evil eye, of course, going to be waiting on the left as well. That Maestro no longer alive, but he's going to go and spray and pray, and boy, does he need to pray a lot because, well, he's not going to find a victory here today, it seems. Tyrant, of course, saying something in chat, a single period to pronunciate and punctuate a 4th round in a row. Dan could not make it work, but here we are, Reese, and my concern is growing quite a bit, but I absolutely loved what Iski did that last round.
4 rounds on a defense in a row is not totally unheard of.
No.
But this is Phantom Legion's map pick. And they were supposed to come into this fired up and ready to fight back in the series. And Wichita over and over again continues to collapse and corrupt their every attacking execute. And it hasn't been really even close to a shred of success for them so far, losing out on the tertiary bomb site. The gym attack failed miserably. The force in was largely unsuccessful, and I worry we'll see a same and very similar situation go down here in round number 5. They've got the same lineup mostly. The one change I see is the buck. So maybe trying to clear the mirror from below is Trist's objective. You can clear the bathroom floor if you didn't know, and so that could force the mirror out of that position, but it didn't seem like it was really the mirror who was the linchpin of the previous defense. It was the fact that Phantom Legion forced in through a single entry point.
No, you're completely right, Reese. I do want to add one tiny little caveat, though, is that Tyrant was able to get 1 billiards kill from inside of there. It wasn't a lot, you're completely right, but I do think that 1 kill enough was really at least impactful for me to see the power of the knowledge Wichita Wolves has about how they can transform and malleate the site. Otherwise, it's been pretty linear for the defense, and honestly, you don't really need to change a whole lot. We are going to be seeing the defense on Jim extend horizontally outwards this round. Before, it was very close to the chest, very close to the actual bomb site. This time around, CCTV is, at least for now, going to be in the control of mostly deviled eggs on the Goyo. But with that being said, though, that could be very lost and very quickly changed depending on what Phantom Legion does next. They're going to be opening up the server wall, but even then, it's a possible 3v1 against Wichita Wolves in this position. But so far, they're not capitalizing on this wall opening up.
At least it's good to see a sign of change from Phantom Legion. Moving in here from CCTV is what was necessary, I think, in that previous round. Opening this wall, I think the largest objective is to make sure that Disturbs is not peaked from the CCTV window. We'll see that open a lot of times, and it's pretty much the only way that you can guarantee that position does not get peaked, because the defender does not want to expose themselves. You never know when someone on Phantom Legion is waiting on the rappel or tucked around the corner to get a free kill or even just a refrag. If Phantom Legion can get their trade game rolling here, that would be a lot of momentum that Wichita haven't had to fight yet. See Giorno and Buzz close in on the wall, but this is a kind of a slow attack so far. You mentioned that immediately after getting the wall open, they weren't able to make much of it. And we're seeing that come to fruition here. It's 1:05. The man advantage is in the favor of Wichita, and Phantom Legion look somewhat skittish to move closer.
Look at the complete control Deviled has. He's rotating between rooms and he's able to get kills. Iski's on the other side too, complementing this Goyo play. Not getting one, but a double kill. Taking down Buzz as well. That is what you want to see on the defense in Siege. 2 operators, 2 different players able to fundamentally control an entire half of a map. Sure, Disturbs gets the double kill and kills them both. But with that being said, though, they did their job for the round. Now it's up to the rest of the team. The rest of the defenders, they'll hold on to the site. Dan, unfortunately, is going to leave for now. That's going to be the diffuser on the ground. And you've lost control of that half that I was just complimenting. But the turtling is now in full effect. And there's only one alive, and that's Disturbs. And Ash versus the world. We've seen an FBI agent in this position before. Unfortunately, when Dan was that Thermite in that same 1v3, he lasted a little bit longer, but unfortunately, that's going to be Disturbs falling relatively quickly as we go 5 in a row for Wichita Wolves.
Not even just 5 in a row. If you look back, coming out of Kafe, that was already 4
Don't you
rounds
dare
in
stick.
a row. So now we're 9 rounds in a row for Wichita, and the pressure is really mounting. Phantom Legion have yet to come up with even something. They make the necessary change. They go for a different area of push. Wichita is ready for it, and they shut it down with ease.
They do shut it down with ease so far. Again, and I hate to keep repeating ourselves, but there hasn't been a position for Wichita Wolves where they have been on the back heel. They've always been in control of these rounds, and honestly, Reese, the most control I think we've seen from Phantom Legion was in that last round, where Disturbs got that double kill on Deviled and Iski. And with that being said, the immediate disconnect from Dan, that was paramount. That was almost like, I'm trying to think. That's like having your victory and then it's immediately ripped away from you. They were so close yet so far at the same time, and that was just a response. But now, round number 6, we're possibly only 2 rounds away from Wichita Wolves winning a 2-0 against Phantom Legion. And things are not looking good. They need to make desperate fixes. Or maybe at the very least, Reese, maybe they just need to go to the defense and hope for the best.
You got to win this one here for Phantom Legion. At least get one attacker victory in the bag. That gives you a bit of a breathing room. If you lose flawlessly here, not only is that a ton of motivation and momentum for Wichita to switch the half and take the victory, it also sets them up in a position where Wichita need only a single round, which on Clubhouse is pretty much guaranteed. Usually we'll see kind of a 2 to 4 split come through, and I think Wichita are more than capable of doing just that. So just ideally, Phantom Legion are in such a monstrous position. Coming back here and now would require a humongous effort, the level of which we have seen not at all through this season. There's more pre-fires from Devil. He's keeping the Phantom Legion attack at bay. It's Tyrant to get the opener onto Trist, who goes 0-6 through the first split, though Giorno will find the refrag to take down the Mozzie, so at least 4v4 in a fair fight between the two teams.
And even 4v4 indeed. It's going to be the Zofia and it's going to be the Mozzie yet again, the first to go down. Something about Mozzies just always fall first between these two different teams. It's not end-all be-all for either team right now. The Diffuser going to be in a pretty decent position this early on. Going to be in blue, down in oil, nearby the plant. They're not going to be going for your conventional strategies. Not going to really focus a lot on kitchen. Not really going to focus a lot on blue as much either, or at the very least dirt. Instead, it's a tough position to be in right now because you're going for what is essentially a very single pushed attack. Devil now has the chance to make a great play. He's going to be pushing his way forwards, looking around to see if he's able to make any work. He's going to hide out for a little bit and wait to see if the blue push is going to go into either full fruition or if it's going to rotate around and falter where Devil may be able to take down Buzz if he does rotate. But in the meantime, we're seeing a much slower push indeed.
Here we go. Phantom Legion closing in on the bomb site. Oh, but it's Anarchy for 3! A quad kill! Closing things down. What just happened for Wichita? It just all fell to pieces in an instant. Keg. This is just heartbreaking to watch for Phantom Legion, who can't do anything to stave off Wichita, who are hungry for a flawless victory, and it looks to be in progress.
Look, I'm just happy to see them get on site. But with that being said, though, they did get onto the site with really not a lot of issues. Otherwise, they just got mowed down. They didn't peak their angles after. And it was just yeah, there was no utility really being used at all. And otherwise, they just struggled a lot. They got mowed down once they were on the site, and I'm not really sure what they were peaking overall.
I don't know if they really knew either, Keg.
Yeah.
Match
Not
point is-
not the best place to be in right now for Phantom Legion. You mentioned before it was what, 9 rounds in a row? Was that
Yep.
2 rounds ago?
It's 10 rounds in a row now for Wichita.
10. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure the analysts will have a fun time with this one, but we are seeing some more interesting strategies coming out. An interesting shield, no less, coming out from Phantom Legion's side. They're going to have a rotate between rafters and inside server, so I'm curious to see what benefit that's going to give them. It's going to be a little bit more protection from the lip wall. Otherwise, though, that could really stifle how they want to push onto the site if they have to go for a retake.
I like the way that Henry puts it. He says only the Levron effect can save Phantom Legion now, and
Yeah.
you would need every god in Siege on your side. Tachanka, I mean, Bikini Body, you would need really everything to come together in your favor for Phantom Legion, and it's just the way that they're playing. Their defenses do not instill me with confidence. We saw on their opponent's map pick, it was 3-3, which is fair, but for a Kafe, it leaves you wanting. On Clubhouse, you're going to have to fight real hard to get this done. A nice gas canister is expended early. This is a bit of a utility gamble for Giorno to do this. I have seen it used just a little bit, but you're almost guaranteed for this wall to be open anyway, so it's kind of up to yourself whether or not you think that gas canister and the time waste here would be worth it. Tyrants on the rappel angle will try to get the shot way back into the tucked corner. I don't think the smoke is going to over-aggress. This is a smart move to make, but we'll see the Vulcan is actually cleared. However, Dan finds the opener onto Iski to shut down the entry fragger now inside of stock. I guess he simply was not ready for it, and the drone will move in to confirm the position. Just as I say that, though, Trist falls again. 0-7, yet to find a single frag.
Yeah, Trist not having a great game so far. Like you said, usually a pretty good indicator of how things are going to go, and not getting a single kill is really rough to see. That being said, though, I do like the defense coming out from Phantom Legion's side. They're able to consolidate themselves, hold things together, but with already the Maestro gone, that's a really poor start. It's going to be up to the roamers now and the much more agile operators on the sides to really show what they can do and help take back some of the control that's already been lost from Wichita Wolves. Therefore, right now, Dan is going to be has to be one of the biggest playmakers right now. And losing down on the smoke as well, you've completely lost all of your anchors. Reese, there's only 50 seconds left potentially in the entire set tonight, and so far, only taking down 2 of the attackers isn't enough. They have to bring it back, and losing Dan, it might be nail in the coffin.
Just maybe, and for Buzz, there could not be a bigger turning point for him. No kills, he'll need to go nuclear. Still within the objective, Disturbs will rotate up to provide the coverage, the highest rated player on his team in combination with the flex support of Buzz. The diffuser will begin to go down here, and it doesn't look likely for it to be denied. Anarchy will provide the coverage to gun down Buzz. It's Disturb who falls as well. Wichita Wolves on their opponent's map pick. Clubhouse falls in a flawless victory.
Yeah, I mean, a 7-0 is not the position you want to be in, and Wichita Wolves did a fantastic job at it. Phantom Legion, hopefully they can fix what went wrong. The analysts, of course, can dive into that for us a little bit more, but yikes. I mean, it's not often where we see 7-0s, even at this caliber of Siege, but hopefully, again, Phantom Legion need to really rethink their strategies, and it seemed like by the end, especially on their attacks of Clubhouse, they were all but lost. But Reese, a beautiful win for Wichita Wolves.
I mean, you could not have asked for more, and we talked for so long kind of about the playoffs game and what the implications of this were for Phantom Legion, and A flawless victory is about as worse as you can get. A 7-3 on the first map of Kafe. Wichita performed well, and that was to be expected for their map pick, but Phantom Legion did not show up to play on Clubhouse, and the strategies that they executed on the defense were so just... I mean, you had the one opportunity. You had to bring something in that round. Your best of Clubhouse could not keep them at bay. We're going to be going to an interview, though, so we'll have an opportunity to chat with one of our victors from Wichita Wolves. It's Mr. Cranberry Drip, the analyst. How are you doing? A 7-0 victory is quite a trophy.
Yeah, well, it is Dub House for a reason, you know. I'm doing pretty good after that.
All right, Keg, I'll go ahead and give this one over to you.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, throughout all the maps we had seen between you guys so far, they have been pretty dominant. But I think going back to Kafe, though, my main question is, there were some times where Phantom Legion seemed to have things under control, especially on the kitchen. But you guys were able to clap back pretty quickly. The rounds you lost, and then bouncing back to the rounds you won, what were the comms like? What was the general strategy that you did to adjust yourselves?
I mean, we were able to point out pretty easily where we made mistakes. So like one round, it was just because some guy got up red on us and we weren't watching it. And then for the kitchen site, it was kind of like hindsight. We should have gone bakery because we banned Wamai, and then Jaeger's like useless now. So rather than trying to force backside for no reason, you know. So just like those minor things. But then when we got onto defense, it was a breeze.
Awesome. Reese, if you want to go.
Sure. Kafe had a lot of things to dig into. I think most importantly was I want to say it was the first kitchen defense for Phantom Legion. It was round 3. You guys had been performing excellently, coming through from the first 2 rounds, flawless, back-to-back on the 3rd floor. What do you think went into such a difficult loss attacking kitchen for the first time?
Just miscoordination on what we were opening up, and also our sludge died early, so we didn't have anybody to open up the floor with apart from... I don't remember if we brought a Jackal that round. It might have been the round after, when they went kitchen again, but we didn't have anybody open up the floor, so we just kind of had to brute force Hatch and Brown, and dropping Freezer doesn't go well.
No, not really at all. What do you guys kind of have planned moving forward? Obviously, taking a win here is pretty good, especially with the massive boost that it will give you in your round differential. Do you guys have anything special planned to ensure the rest of the regular season goes smoothly?
I mean, just working with what we are given with this new season. You know, as a team after yesterday, we kind of sat down and we're like, okay, what do we want to, you know, change with going into the new season, and looked at things, looked at our options in terms of how we want to play it. And so we'll be looking at that going forward, and just hopefully, you know, we can lock it down as a roster.
All right, well, that's about it for all the questions that I've got. I want to give you an opportunity, you know, if there's anyone you'd like to shout out, people putting in their work, or maybe, you know, just some fans that have stuck by you, go ahead, the floor is yours.
Well, you can go follow the org at Wichita Wolves GG. You'll be able to see when we play, things like that. We have a match tomorrow in UPL against Redux, so that should be a good one. I don't know if it's gonna, I believe it's getting streamed, but again, if you go to the org's Twitter, you'll be able to see if it is.
All right, well, fun talking with you. Good luck in the rest of your games, and I hope to see Wichita in here and you for the interview once again. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and give it up over to the analysts. My name is Sticula, joined by my co-caster, Keg. We'll be signing off, and the analysts are here to break down every little facet of that and how Wichita managed to secure a flawless victory. Analysts, take it away.
Keg, Sticula, once again, thank you so much. A brilliant cast, a brilliant performance by Wichita Wolves. They are finally back to their old ways. They are firing on all cylinders, and if they're able to keep this momentum forward, they're going to be a team that you're going to be looking forward to seeing in the grand finals, but they have to keep that momentum.
Indeed, you are correct. And I think I was messing around with my mic during the little interview intermission, so I think now my mic is going to be a little bit better. But one thing I have to say to Tris is, I wonder if he's my friend Owen. Owen 7, because Tris literally dropped the ball on that one. I mean, come on, man. You had it. And I've said this before and I'll say it a million times. Tris is so big on getting the frags. He's so huge on getting all of the frags for PLG. And when he does not show up, you can tell PLG is going to show up. And I mean, this match was no exception to that. Tris went 0-7. The game went 0-7. Do you see a coincidence in there? I think so. I think so. There's definitely a coincidence in that. Boom! You're floored. I know the audience is going to be floored on that one. Just absolutely amazed with that. But let's get into the actual analysis. Do you think we'll take this one?
Trist is like that energy electric lightning bolt, but if you capture it all in a bottle and break it, he won't be able to do anything. Like, that was a frustrating thing. He's the IGL, he's the endgame leader. And well, I think it all gets culminated into one round, and that was round number 7. The entire time, Wichita Wolves, they set up their attack. And once again, it was that boa constrictor style of strategy where they basically put all the defenders into one box, they compressed the box, and it exploded with defender bodies all over the place. And if Wichita Wolves, again, is able to constantly utilize that strategy, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And honestly, on the side of Phantom Legion, we saw them attempt to do macro strategies like that on Kafe. So I know that they're capable of doing that, but on attack, we never really saw them deal with offside pressure. They never once attempted to set up crossfires, but instead they would just try to go big cojones and just yeet it into the bomb site. And sadly, that's a macro strategy that just can't be consistent.
Right, you are. And I think a good bit of that gets exposed on round 4. Now that we see Wichita Wolves, and even round 5, actually, as I'm looking at my notes. Definitely no definitive control for Phantom Legion. They really fell into the trap of Wichita Wolves. I think a lot of it really was mental, though, if we look at this, because Phantom Legion, they lost against Wichita on Kafe. I mean, it wasn't so bad, but it was pretty, you know. For any team going into that, it's hard to keep a calm head. And they really just surrendered their mental fortitude. They surrendered any strategy they had left. They basically ditched the whole idea of flank droning. They ditched the whole idea of, you know, playing with a strategic playing game playset. if you want to put it like that, but you guys know what I'm getting at, right? It's the jelly of it is essentially that they weren't on their game this time around. They weren't playing to their fullest potential, and you can see that in every single step they made. It was a 7-0. That's
it was a communication problem. It was an IGL problem. And as an IGL, there's so much weight on your shoulders because you have to dictate everything. You set the pace of the round, you set where the utility is going, and you have to deal with those mini games. And sadly, Phantom Legion was never actively dealing with mini games. They weren't putting flank drones down, and they weren't dealing with that offside pressure. Constantly, Wichita Wolves is putting players over by lobby or Y, stage, and bar. And if you want to be successful on your executes, you absolutely have to deal with that. And sadly, Phantom Legion never made that adaptation.
Right, I think Phantom Legion just didn't spawn in. You know, they took Wichita on Clubhouse out of all maps, and, you know, not to make filler out of this, but a map that not only does Wichita excel at, but Phantom Legion obviously didn't have the right mindset going into, and that's a really deadly combo. It was honestly the finisher at that point. I mean, 7-0, it was a heartbreaking defeat to say the least. You know that Wichita Wolves starting off on defense was really not exactly advantageous for Phantom Legion going into their rounds, and you could definitely tell. I mean, it was a 6-0 by the role swap, and it really only took one more round, which was the 7th round that we had already spoken about. And at that time, Phantom Legion, they were out of it. They were ready to lose. They were ready to leave, you know, pack up their bags and just go. You could tell.
Yeah, I think in the end, it was just, you know, Wichita Wolves coming off, you know, the top rope and just bringing everything they had. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to end it for us today on this stream. We might be concluding tonight, but that means you should still tune in tomorrow. Same time, same place. It's going to be 3 Pacific Standard Time. So make sure you're there for some more phenomenal Siege. But until next time, stay safe, stay well. We'll be back with you tomorrow.